Hi, hello everybody. Tuesday, February 19th, 2019, episode 4 for the people. And today I got to talk about Roger Stone. Roger Stone is, oh, I wish I could remember her name from Pod Save America. Roger Stone he looks suspicious. He walks around going, come on, suspect me. Twirling his cane and with the glasses, and his whole life is about getting attention. And now he has more attention than I don't even think he understands the trouble he's in. Let's start. We'll try to start back in the beginning here because also you got Roger Stone and Andrew McCabe are in the headlines right now. Again, that's part of why I want to do these video logs because the news happens so fast. So, I mean, right now, this 48-hour period, it's about Roger Stone and Andrew McCabe. So back to Roger Stone. One of the first indictments that came out in the Mueller investigation, which I thought was very smart, the first indictments that came out were against Russians, people not even in America. So the GOP, Trump, really didn't even know how to react to it since it didn't involve any Americans. But the first indictments that came out in terms of Russians' involvement, meddling in the 2016 election was against, I'm going to say 13 Russian military officials. These are government officials, though, not just random Russians, but Russian government officials. And I want to say 2 or 3 Russian corporations as well. But it was a purely Russian indictment on people that were never going to appear in court anyway. So it was a very smart opening shot by Mueller to kind of to begin the process. But in that indictment, even though it didn't mention him specifically, it did mention that there were contacts with some Americans. And Roger Stone at the time, again, loving attention, popped off and said, oh yeah, that's me, that was me. That's me they're talking about there. That's me. I mean, it's not actually me, but that's me they're talking about there. So those indictments went forward. And so now, fast forward, almost 2 years later, now Roger Stone gets indicted. And his indictment gets attached as a sibling to that very first Russian case against 13 Russian agents. And because of that, he has the same judge as the judge in that case. And this judge also is dealing with Paul Manafort, and so she's really involved in this case, and she knows the background and she knows what's involved, and apparently Roger Stone not a fan of that. Now he doesn't want to be associated with that other case. He wanted the attention then, and now it's like, oh no, I have nothing to do with this. And so to lash out in the juvenile, that's the thing. I mean, these people like Roger Stone and President Trump, I mean, these are guys, men in their 60s, 70s, and they treat social media like a teenager. So Roger Stone, to kind of, just because of what they do, they post all the political stuff, and posted a picture of the judge. I guess the first picture he posted was with the judge and like a crosshair near her head, or near her, and but again posted her close-up picture of her with the crosshair, her full name, and then did his standard right-wing rant job about Benghazi and deep state and enemy of the people. And I guess then he edited the post. He took down that post, put up another picture of her where it zoomed in so you could get a clearer picture of her, but the crosshair was not in the image, but with the same right-wing ranting below it. He posted this of a federal judge judging him. And so I guess On Friday, his lawyers submitted a note of apology to the judge, just a formal declaration that he was dumb, and now she wants to see him in court today. Uh, he had a partial gag order, I guess, where they were allowing him that he could talk about whatever he wanted. He could even talk about this case if he wanted to. He just couldn't do it like on the steps of the courthouse. And but I guess it was simply implied that part of the whole partial gag order is you can't threaten a federal judge, especially your federal judge. That Paul Manafort, and again, these people that Paul Manafort was, these rich white people, they can post bail to get out, and so they're out of jail while they're awaiting their court date. And Paul Manafort, while he was out on bail, was threatening and trying to witness tamper. So the judge took away his freedom, put him in jail while he was waiting for court. Roger Stone, there's no reason for him not to get the exact same. He clearly he can't handle having a phone. And the bottom line of all these people is, again, they were not ready for the big leagues. They were not, James Corsi, Roger Stone, Manafort, Donald Trump, his family, they weren't ready for this. Senator Harris is in New Hampshire. She was in New Hampshire this past weekend, and I've sent in my resume to join the campaign. I've talked to my friends, and I know it's a slow process, but I'm really hoping to join the campaign. And I'll go to Iowa. I'll do what's needed. But here's the thing. I know what I don't know. I'd love to, I want to be a part of the campaign. I want to be an important part of the campaign. But I know, like, even at my little tiny level, if I join the campaign, there are certain things, I'm not going to be on, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. I might still do these, but just, but I'm going to be careful what I say, because when you're part of a campaign, when you're part of anything, when you're part of something larger than yourself, you bring them with you. And when you make comments, when you threaten a federal judge, you bring them down with you. And I think, the thing with the campaigns, and it's weird, I guess maybe that's why I feel a certain odd kinsmanship, because I understand the passion of being a part of a presidential campaign. But I look at it as it's a way for me to rise up. It's a way for me to make myself better, not join a campaign and encourage others of my bad behavior. And it just seems with the Donald Trump campaign, these were people just used to getting their way, doing things their way, and there was no one there to rise it up. And they never expected to win, and they never expected all their actions. The one line that I just keep going back to, and it doesn't, I don't quite feel sorry for them, but it just reminds me how unaware they are, is that Donald Trump Jr. email, when he released the emails, at the time, and that's amazing. It's amazing how much they have given away, how much they have incriminated themselves when they're trying to cover up something else. It's a whack-a-mole thing. They get accused of something over here, And when they go to defend that, 20 other questions come out. So, I mean, Donald Trump Jr., to show the innocence of the Trump Tower meeting, hey, that nothing actually happened from the meeting. Here, let me show you the email chain that led to the meeting, and you'll see how dumb I was and how I had no idea what was going on. But in that email chain that Donald Trump Jr. released himself, it said this is part of the government of Russia's ongoing attempt to help your father win the election. We have incriminating, in parentheses, stolen information on your political opponent, and we want to share it with you. We, the Russian government. And Donald Trump Jr., his only reply was, I love it, especially if it's what you say it is. I love it, especially later in the summer when it's most politically valuable. They've walked into a meat grinder. And they don't know how they got here. And they got here because of Robert Mueller, because of who he is, what he has been. This guy was the director of the FBI. He like FBI's for a hobby. I mean, he breathes this. And the other news in this past week has been Andrew McCabe. His book came out, but he's doing these interviews, and he was there at the origin of the Mueller probe, and I mean, because us average citizens, we're sitting around listening to the presidential candidate back in mid-2016, say out loud, Russia, if you're listening, I hope you can find Hillary's emails. As an average citizen, your radar goes up in terms of like, wait, did a candidate for our president just ask out loud another country, not just another country, but Russia, to help, to involve themselves? He wanted them to help out loud. And so for an average guy like me, for that to make me go, that seems kind of weird. Andrew McCabe, in the interviews in his book that has come out, shows that these professionals, it set off alarms all over the place. And then when James Comey goes to talk to President Trump and try to work with him and then gets fired, again, these FBI professionals that have been doing this 30, 40 years, they're thinking 3, 4, 5 steps ahead. The FBI director gets fired, they go into DEFCON 1. Was that the highest one? Yeah, DEFCON 1. That's full war. I think it is. I'll have to look at my DEFCONs. But anyway, the highest, maybe it is DEFCON 5. Yeah, DEFCON 5. And that was how the Mueller probe came about, because they realized we could all be gone next week. The deputy AG, Andrew McCabe, who know, they could all be fired, and there'd be no evidence. Everyone would be gone. And so, and again, it was the president's own public statements. Forget anything else we find out undercover. This whole thing, and like I said, and even after all this, they still don't know how to act publicly. They're putting it. Roger Stone is about to spend his last days of freedom. He's going to jail, and he'll probably be in jail till his court date, and then his court date will put him in more jail. But he's going to basically lose everything right now because of Instagram. Because of Instagram. I love YouTube. I love doing these videos. I will never go to jail because of YouTube. Roger Stone. All right. Thanks for listening. I'm out.